Well, there was a certain moral persuasion to fight for your country. The atmosphere was such that a lot of the boys and a lot of my friends and a lot of the community were joining up, and there was the lure of the uniform and the sense of adventure. And because it was not strange to be thinking about the military, because the First World War had only been over for 21 years, and fighting and being in the military was quite acceptable, and it was still being talked about.
Work here was, when he came to Canada, was not very good, so he joined the army at 18. He just turned 18 in June, and he joined the army right away, and I think it was mainly it was an adventure for the young men in those days. Yeah. Also, it was pay. It was for the pay. Pay was very meager, but it was, when you have none, yeah.
Better than nothing.
That's right. Yeah. So I think that was the main reason. And for the adventure, because his dad was in the First World War.
Mon escadrille, et j'étais rendu dans le nord. Hein? Puis, moi, je pilotais les Wellington. Ben, c'est ça, les Wellington. J'en ai piloté un, puis une nuit, là, j'arrivais pas à atterrir à cause du mauvais vent. Le vent était comme ça, qu'on atterrissait comme ça. J'étais descendu trop au bord, tu sais, pour avoir de la force. Mais je suis poigné dans des fils barbelés. À l'Angleterre, tu sais, les fils barbelés, tu connais ça? Oui. Et tu avais des rouleaux de fils de la hauteur de la place, tout autour de l'aéroport. Justement, pour pas que les ennemis viennent nous embarquer. Moi, je suis rentré avec l'avion là-dedans. C'est là que je me suis fait mal. Je me suis blessé. Je me suis plus blessé là que d'être blessé pour faire la guerre. Là, j'étais à l'hôpital, à Liverpool. Je suis passé là, parce que 3 mois, 4 mois, avant de revenir chez nous au Canada.
In the Navy, of course, it was a bit of an excitement and an adventure being out on the sea. Some of it was difficult and some of it was monotonous, but there was a certain amount of of excitement, and the hardships were sort of outweighed by the comradeship and the closeness of your mates on the ship. Of the North Atlantic was the fact that ice formed on the ship. And with the ice forming on the ship, put a thick coating on it so that no lifeboats, no depth charges, no gun could be fired. And it was the duty of the crew to, of the members who were off duty, everyone, cooks, writers and stokers, were all out, even the officers and the captain were all out with axes or picks chipping off the ice. Because as we changed tack, and if the sun came out, that melted the ice on one side of the ship, which caused the list. So it was a survival to get the ice chipped off.
And did he ever mention what the atmosphere was like when he heard the war was over? Did he ever mention where he was and like what it was like?
He was in Holland.
Okay.
Because that was the liberation, of Holland.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then he met a couple on the side of the road in Holland, who everybody was embracing everybody, I imagine. They did here anyway, I know, in Canada. When the war was announced that it was over, everybody was, I remember, I even went downtown. And everybody was hugging and happy, and yeah, and he met this couple, Dutch couple on the side of the road who befriended each other, and we've been friends up until they passed away just a few years ago.
Everybody was on cloud nine.
Okay.
And you'd walk down the street and you'd just hug a girl, or a girl would hug you, you know. It was so exciting. And they had parties in most of the streets in all over England, well, Britain.
Okay.
And it had parties, and the people had been rationed for years and years, you know. But the mothers and grandmothers had been saving little bits of sugar and butter.
What I like to say, well, goodness sake, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't all be enjoying what we are today. And the young people today should be very grateful. I think that we hope it was a war to end wars, and that they never have to have such an experience. And be very grateful, and don't ever forget the vets that sacrificed so much for them. I don't know, they are lucky in one way they didn't have to experience it, because it affects everybody's lives.
Subdued by another nation, and we don't realize that in everyday life naturally, but at the same time we are fortunate that we're not, not subjugated by anyone else. Canada is Canada.